All right, so are we otherwise ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Something,
Your Honor, I
Yep.
did, actually, I just thought about that other case I have in front of Judge Paula. I just forgot all about it.
well, we gotta get going,
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm gonna
fine.
tell her on a break, I'll send you over, okay?
That's fine, thank you.
All right, and I forgot to mention it to her yesterday as well. Before we get going, and we should have discussed this yesterday, because the victim in this case is a child, there are certain confidentiality requirements when it comes to child victims.
Yes.
And so with regards to any crime scene photos, autopsy photos, any photos taken in relation to the sexual assault investigation, none of those may be broadcast in any form or fashion. And I will be doing a written order to that effect. Those are absolutely prohibited from disclosure pursuant to Florida law. So, anything else before we get going?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, and our jury's here.
Yes.
All right, bring them in.
All right, jury entering.
All right, welcome back, members of the jury. Everyone have a seat. We are ready to proceed. You know what I'm gonna ask you. You guys can probably just start reciting it yourselves. Did any of you last night, or after we recessed yesterday, read, watch, listen to any news accounts related to this case? Did you do any independent investigation of your own about this case, or did you speak with anyone about this case? No. Okay, very good, ready to go. State who's gonna be your next witness.
Your Honor, the state would call Maria Montejo Diaz.
Okay. All right, very good. We have an interpreter present. If you identify yourself for the record,
For the record, Christian Science State Certified Staff Court Interpreter.
please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to translate to the best of your ability from English to Spanish and Spanish to English?
I affirm.
Okay, very good. And you may proceed. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I swear.
Step right this way, please.
Pass it right.
You may have a seat in the witness stand. Are you okay standing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do just need to instruct the jury before we begin. I don't know if any of you speak Spanish, but if you do speak Spanish, you are to go by what the official interpreter says. If you understand Spanish and you think there's a discrepancy between what the victim said and what was interpreted, then I need you all just to raise your hand, let us know, and we'll deal with it, okay? All right, very good.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Would you please state your name and spell both names?
Por favor, diga su nombre y su apellido y deletréelos letra por letra.
María Montejo Díaz.
María Montejo Díaz.
Con S.
With S.
S.
Could you please spell your names?
¿Podría deletrear letra por letra su nombre, su primer nombre y sus dos apellidos?
M-A-R-A. Montejo M-O-N. Montejo J-O. D-I-A-S.
María M-A-R-A Montejo.
María Montejo Díaz.
M-O-N-T-J-O Díaz D-I-A-S.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias.
And ma'am, where do you currently live? What city do you live in?
¿En qué ciudad vive actualmente, señora?
Clearwater, Florida.
Clearwater, Florida.
And did you live there in May of 2014?
¿Estaba usted viviendo ahí en mayo del 2014?
Sí.
Yes.
And what do you do for a living?
¿A qué se dedica usted? ¿De qué trabaja, señor?
Trabajaba en la lavandería.
Working at a laundromat.
Okay. And back in May of 2014, what did you do during that time period?
Y en mayo del 2014, ¿qué usted estaba haciendo durante ese periodo de tiempo?
Como periodo de tiempo, como perdón.
What do you mean time period?
In November of 2014, when you were on the Courtney Campbell Causeway and became involved in this case.
En noviembre del 2014, cuando usted estaba en el Courtney Campbell Causeway y se involucró en este caso.
During that time period.
Durante ese periodo de tiempo.
Yo fui a trabajar medio tiempo allá en la lavandería.
I went to work part-time at the laundromat.
Okay. And Ms. Diaz, where are you from originally?
Señora Díaz, ¿de dónde es usted originalmente?
Chiapas, México.
Chiapas,
México.
México.
And is Spanish your native tongue?
¿Español es su idioma materno?
No tengo otro idioma. Tengo el indígena.
No, I have another language, an indigenous language.
Okay. And do you also speak Spanish?
¿Usted también habla español?
Sí, aquí aprendí a hablar español.
Yes, I learned how to speak Spanish.
So the indigenous language was the language you grew up with in Mexico?
Entonces, el idioma indígena fue el idioma con el cual usted creció en México?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you recall a time when you were on the Courtney Campbell Causeway in May of 2014?
¿Usted recuerda un momento en el cual usted estaba en el Courtney Campbell Causeway en mayo del 2014?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you recall seeing a body floating in the water of the bay?
¿Y usted recuerda haber visto un cuerpo flotando en el agua, en la bahía?
Sí.
Yes.
So I'm going to call your attention or bring your attention back to that day.
Voy entonces a llamar su atención a lo que sucedió ese día.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay? Yes.
Did you work that day?
¿Usted trabajó ese día?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you recall approximately what time you got off of work?
¿Recuerda aproximadamente a qué hora usted salió del trabajo?
Salí a las 12 del mediodía.
I got off at 12 at noon.
After getting off of work, did you travel somewhere?
Después de salir del trabajo, ¿usted viajó, se dirigió hacia algún lado?
Sí, me vine a de ese lado donde encontré la muerte.
Yes, I went to that place where I found the dead
Vine a esa playa de ahí.
body. I went to that beach there.
And was someone with you that day?
¿Alguien estaba con usted ese día?
Sí,
Yes.
And was that a friend of yours?
¿Una amistad suya?
sí.
Yes.
Is that place that you traveled to a place you had been to before?
Ese lugar a donde usted fue era un lugar donde usted había estado antes.
Sí, llegábamos ahí siempre a ese lugar.
Yes, we would always go there to that place.
And that day, why did you go there?
Y ese día, ¿por qué les dio por ir a ese lugar?
Que el amistad mío y le dije que cuando saliendo del trabajo que vayáramos a ese lugar a tomar una cervecita de ese lugar.
I told my friend that after getting off of work to go drink some beers at that place.
Okay. Were you going there to relax?
Iban a ir ahí a relajarse un rato.
Sí, a relajar un rato ahí.
Yes, to relax for a while.
And while you were there, did you walk down near the water?
Y mientras estuvo ahí, caminó cerca del agua.
Sí, de ahí me bajé en el carro y el amistad mío se quedó en el carro y yo me bajé y me fui a sentarme de la piedra de que estaban ahí.
Yes, I got out of the car. My friend stayed in the car, and I went walking close to the water where the rocks are.
And at some point while you were there, did you notice something in the water?
En algún dado momento, mientras usted estaba ahí en ese lugar, ¿usted notó algo en el agua?
No.
No.
And while after being in that location for a little bit of time,
De ahí llegó.
Después de haber estado unos momentos en ese lugar, ¿vio algo?
did you then notice something?
Después de eso fue que usted vio algo.
De ahí estaba yo sentada ahí y el amistad mío se fue a sentar al lado mío y cuando me dijo que me levantara rápido porque hay algo ahí que estaba nadando en el agua.
So I went to sit down there. Then my friend came to sit down next to me, and he told me to get up quickly because there was something there in the water.
Okay. And did you see that thing in the water?
¿Y usted pudo ver eso que estaba en el agua?
Sí, estaba al lado mío.
Yes, it was next to me.
And what did it appear to be?
¿Y qué, lo que usted vio, qué le parecía a usted que era?
Lo miramos que era una persona porque se bajaba y su cabecita se bajaba y se veía que una cabecita así estaba bajando y estaba, no, subía y se bajaba.
We saw that it was a person because we saw the little head going up and down. The little head would go up and down.
After seeing that, what did you do next?
Después de ver eso, ¿qué fue lo próximo que usted hizo?
Lo primero que vino en la memoria mía y lo llamé, le dije la amistad mía que la llamáramos del 911.
The first thing that came to my mind was to tell my friend to call 911.
And did you do that?
Sí.
¿Hicieron eso?
Sí, sí lo llamé.
Yes, I called.
And at some time after he called 911, did fire department people arrive and did police officers arrive?
Y después de él haber llamado al 911, llegaron las personas de los bomberos y los policías.
Sí.
Yes.
From the time that you saw the body in the water until when the police officers got there, did you ever touch the body or go near the body?
Desde el momento que usted vio el cuerpo hasta el momento en que los oficiales de la policía llegaron ahí, entre ese tiempo, ¿usted tocó el cuerpo de alguna manera?
No.
No.
And did anybody else?
¿Y alguna otra persona lo tocó?
No.
When the police officers arrived there, did they begin to secure the area where the body was in the water?
Cuando los oficiales de la policía llegaron ahí, ellos empezaron a ponerle seguridad alrededor del cuerpo que estaba en el agua.
Sí.
Yes.
When you arrived there, when you first arrived there with your friend, did you see anybody else in that area?
Cuando usted primero llegó a esa área con su amigo, ¿se fijaron si había alguna otra persona por ahí?
Y habían, pero estaban más abajito, estaban pescando el otro lado.
There were, but they were further down fishing.
From the time you arrived, did you see anybody else go near the body in the water?
Desde el momento que usted llegó a ese lugar, ¿usted vio si alguna otra persona se acercó al cuerpo?
No.
No.
And at some later point, did a police officer speak to you and interview you?
Y más adelante, un policía habló con usted y la entrevistó?
Sí.
Yes.
And was that conversation in the Spanish language?
¿Y esa conversación tomó lugar en el idioma español?
Pedí que hablaran español.
Yeah, I asked for them to speak Spanish.
Do you know Felicia Williams, the little girl that was in the water?
¿Usted conoce a Felicia Williams, la niñita que estaba en el agua?
No.
No.
And do you know Granville Ritchie?
¿Y conoce usted a Granville Ritchie?
No.
No.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Publishing states L as in Lima, 1. Ms. Diaz, if you could look over your right shoulder to the screen above you.
Señora Díaz, si puede ver a la pantalla que está a su mano derecha, aquí atrás de usted.
Does that photograph show the area where you saw the little girl?
Esa fotografía demuestra el área donde usted vio a la niñita.
Sí.
Yes.
States I as in India, I-1. If you could please take a look at that photograph.
Si por favor puede ver esa fotografía.
Sí.
Yes.
And publishing states I-2. And also if you could take a look at this photograph, Ms. Diaz.
Y si también, señora Díaz, puede observar, mirar esa fotografía.
Sí.
Yes.
Does that appear to be the body that you saw in the water?
Ese parece ser el cuerpo que usted vio en el agua.
Sí.
Yes.
I'll tender the witness, Your Honor.
Cross.
No questions, thank you, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am, thank you
Señora
very
Díaz.
much. You are excused.
Muchas gracias, está excusada. Thank you. And the interpreter be excused?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. The state would call Detective Joseph Ruhlin.
Detective, will you step up here, please? Right here, face the clerk, she will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you about to give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
If you'd step up here, please, and have a seat in the witness stand.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Would you please state your name and spell both names for us?
It's Detective Joseph, Joseph, Ruhlin, Ruhlin, with Clearwater Police Department.
All right. And how long have you been with the police department, sir?
Next month, it's going to be 27 years.
With the Clearwater Police Department?
Yes, sir.
All right. And are you a certified and sworn law enforcement officer pursuant to standards set by the state of Florida?
Yes, I am.
What is your current assignment?
I'm a homicide detective.
I'm going to call your attention back to May of 2016. What was your assignment during that time period? Or, I'm sorry, May of 2014.
I was a homicide detective then also.
Okay. Calling your attention specifically within that month to May 17th of 2014, were you working that afternoon an off-duty job somewhere in the city of Clearwater?
Yes, I was. I was working on Clearwater Beach in full uniform that day.
While you were working, did you hear a call go out that drew your attention?
Yes, I did.
And what was the call in reference to?
It sounded like a body washed up on the causeway. I was just getting the preliminaries over the radio that it could be a body, and by the time they were figuring out, my cell phone was ringing asking me to respond.
Okay. And did you then clear your off-duty job?
Yes, sir, I did.
And does that mean basically you left that job or let them know you had to leave?
Yes, sir.
Did you end up having a phone conversation with a fellow homicide detective, Detective Spaulding?
Yes, I did.
And was that in reference to the body that was found on the Courtney Campbell Causeway?
Yes, it was.
Did you also at that time or around that time make contact with a detective sergeant?
Yes, I did.
All right. And did you at some point then respond to the Clearwater Police Department, the main headquarters for the Clearwater Police Department?
Yes, I did. I was originally responding to the scene, and when they identified who had washed up, I was told to report to our District 2 station for a meeting.
Okay. And District 2, where is that located?
That's at 645 Pierce Street. That's not too far off the beach, downtown Clearwater.
And when you arrived there, did you attend a meeting?
Yes, I did.
And were there other detectives there from your agency?
Yes, there were.
Were there command staff from your agency?
Yes, there was.
And in addition, did 2 Temple Terrace Police Department detectives attend that meeting?
Yes, they did.
Would that have been Detective Elmer and Detective Smith?
Yes.
And were there photographs taken at the scene on the Courtney Campbell Causeway that were viewed by you and other individuals at the meeting, including the Temple Terrace Police Department detectives?
Yes.
After that meeting was concluded, did you and Detective Spaulding travel somewhere with the 2 detectives from the Temple Terrace Police Department?
Yes, we did.
How did you travel?
I believe Spaulding and I doubled up, and I don't know if the 2 detectives from Temple Terrace were in one car. I believe they were.
And do you recall where you traveled to?
We traveled back to the scene.
And that would have been the scene where the body was recovered in the water?
Yes, it was.
When you got there at the scene, did you all exit your motor vehicles?
Yes, we did.
And did you conduct additional checks and searches around that area?
Yes.
Did you locate anything?
We did not locate any new evidence or anything.
All right. Did you see or locate any clothing?
No.
Any suitcases?
No.
Did you at some point leave that scene and travel somewhere else over in Hillsborough County?
Yes, we did.
And where did you all travel to?
The Temple Terrace Police Department.
And that would be both you and Detective Spaulding?
Yes, we were riding together.
And did the 2 Temple Terrace Police Department detectives also respond there?
Yes.
And when you arrived there at their police station, were there numerous other officers there at that station?
Yes, there were.
And did you attempt to assist them in any way you could?
Yes, we were there to assist, but after a while they really didn't need us any further, and we left.
And when you left, where did you go?
We went back to the garage at the District 2 station so I could get my car, and we went home from there.
Now, the following day, did you go back on duty?
Yes, I did.
Did you in fact respond to a county agency within Pinellas County in reference to the body that had been recovered?
Yes, I did. The Pinellas County Medical Examiner's Office.
And where is that located?
That's over off of Almerton Road. It shares a parking lot with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, their main office.
Okay. And when you went to that agency, did you in fact attend the autopsy of Felicia Williams?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as states K. And this is K1 through K114. I'll just ask if you can look through these.
Sure.
take them from me as you're
Oh,
going
sure.
through them.
Thank you.
It might go faster. That's all right. Okay. Having looked at all those photographs, let me ask, do they accurately reflect the condition of Felicia Williams' body during the process of the autopsy on May 18th of 2014?
Yes, those are the autopsy photos.
And do the autopsy photos also depict the external and internal examination of her body
Yes.
and certain processes that occurred during the autopsy procedure?
Yes.
And they accurately and fairly depicted as the body and the autopsy procedure as it occurred on May 18, 2014?
Yes.
Okay.
And before we begin showing them again, I reiterate these photos may not be broadcast, disseminated in any form or fashion.
Detective, was a sexual assault kit executed on Ms. Williams' body or performed on her body?
Yes.
Swabbings taken of her nipples, her anus, her vagina, and other areas of her body?
Yes.
Okay. That was collected by the medical examiner?
Yes.
And who was the doctor, the medical examiner who performed
That would be
the autopsy?
Dr. Kurz.
And that's K-U-R-Z?
Kurz, I believe.
Okay. On May 19th, a Monday, the following day, did you and other detectives respond to the Courtney Campbell Causeway?
Yes, we did.
And did that include yourself, Detective Spaulding, and then a Detective Sergeant Monte, I believe?
Yes.
And did you all conduct a search of the causeway?
Yes.
And did that include the entire causeway?
Pretty much we went a little bit over on this side, the Tampa side. We did our side. We went up and down checking garbage cans. We had some officers helping us too. We checked some more of the mangrove areas, just double, triple checking everything. I believe we had also called and found that the trash had not been picked up since the crime had occurred, so.
Okay, so when you were driving across and around on the causeway, were you checking all receptacles, garbage cans?
Yes,
Taking a look at the rocks, especially on the north side of the causeway
yes,
and the south side?
yes, we checked the south side too.
Did you discover any clothing that would appear to be something that a small girl would wear?
No,
Did you find any suitcases?
no.
You have 1 moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
During the autopsy procedure, was a blood sample also taken from the victim's body for possible future DNA testing?
Yes, they took blood samples.
Okay. I'll tender the witness, Your Honor.
Cross.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You indicated that you searched both the north side and the south side of the Courtney Campbell Causeway.
Correct.
Could you describe which part of the south side of the Courtney Campbell Causeway you searched?
The south side?
Yeah, which side? The east, west, the Clearwater side, the Hillsborough side?
We drove our side, the Clearwater side.
Okay.
But most of that, there's not as much mangroves.
Right.
So you could go kind of drive and look, and we stopped and would check all the garbage cans. I think we went over onto the Hillsborough side for a little bit. I'm not positive how far we went,
Okay.
but we did go quite a ways out from the crime scene.
Okay, so the service road on the south side, on the Clearwater side of the hump of the causeway,
Yes, sir.
you for sure drove that and visually looked and would stop and check garbage cans.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the service road will not take you across the hump. The only way you can get on the
No,
other
goes
side is you have to
underneath.
get on the bridge.
Yes.
again. Okay. And you think, but you're not sure whether or not you did the south side on the other side?
I think we drove, you mean on the Tampa
On
side?
the Tampa side.
I think we drove over. I really don't recall. It was actually Detective Spaulding, I think, documented that because that would have been part of the crime scene.
You yourself, do you recall
yeah.
doing that part?
I think we did a little. I can't really recall.
Sure. Were you driving your own car or riding with someone else? or-
Spaulding and I were riding together again.
Okay. Were you with Spaulding the first time she responded? Or just
To the scene?
Right.
No, I met her at the station. I was en route to the scene, and I got diverted to the station.
Okay. And so, but every time after that, when you went to the causeway, you were with Spaulding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In her car?
Yeah, I think she was driving. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And when I say her car, I assume it's her
Detective
official
car,
car, detective
yes.
car. While you were driving with her on the service roads on the causeway, and I think you were both on the south and the north side of the causeway, was there ever a time when the car ended up driving into mangroves and scratching up the side of her car?
I remember her talking about that at the time. I can't recall if I was in the car at the incident, but I remember because she was upset because it's one of the brand new Chargers that got issued.
Okay. But as far as when you were in the car, do you recall ever that happening while you were in the car?
It might have happened when I was in the car. I can't.
Don't know.
Right.
Okay. Very good. That's all I have. Thank you.
Just to clarify, Detective, you can't remember if you were in the car when that happened.
I'm not positive.
If it happened when she responded to the scene itself, she was responding out there by herself. You weren't with her at that time.
Correct.
You were you were en route to the scene. You got diverted to the Clearwater Police Department station in downtown Clearwater.
That was correct.
So if the scratches occurred on her car,
Well, that is sustained, but
Right.
go ahead.
if the scratches occurred on her car while she was en route to the scene, would you have been with her? And I'm talking about to the scene where the body was located.
Not the first time she responded initially, but any time after she responded.
Okay. So you weren't with her when she responded to the scene.
Not the first time.
Right.
The first time she went, she was out there. She got the idea the body was relayed to my sergeant, who says, "Hey, you need to divert and come to the station.
Let me back up and see if I can just make sure we're clear about this. When the body was recovered on the Courtney Campbell Causeway, did you ever go out there and see the body while it was still in the water or in that scene?
No, I got diverted.
Okay. So the first time you went out there was when you went out there later after the meeting with Detective Spaulding and the Temple Terrace police detectives?
That's correct.
And at that point, the body had already been removed from the scene?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But you do remember her talking about the scratches on her car because she was upset because it was a new car.
Right, right.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir, you're free to go.
Thank you, ma'am.
State clear next witness.
I just have one moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Ms. Shingleton?
So you have to see them witness stand.
Thank you.
Good morning. Would you please state your name?
Sheryl with an S, Shingleton,
Ms. Shingleton, how are you employed?
City of Temple Terrace, Public Safety.
And what are your duties with public safety at Temple Terrace?
I oversee the 911 Communications Center, the Record Center, deal with FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Department of Motor Vehicles, 911, radio systems, etc.
All right. And would that include the system and the section of the Temple Terrace Police Department or city that receives incoming 911 calls from citizens?
Yes, sir.
When a 911 event occurs through the communication center, when someone calls 911, is there a documentation of that incident that's referred to as an incident detail report?
Yes, sir, through the CAD system, computer-aided dispatch system.
All right. And does that CAD system, that computer-generated CAD system, does it generate this report that includes information concerning that call and the reaction by the communications center to that call?
Yes, sir.
Does it indicate the time the call is received?
Yes, sir.
Does it indicate the time that actually the first keystroke by personnel within the center is made onto a computer concerning that call?
Yes, sir.
If a police unit is assigned to that call, does it indicate the date and time of that also?
Yes, sir. It timestamps, yes.
And does it give a timestamp for assignment of a police unit?
Yes, sir.
Does it give a timestamp for the time period when that police unit is en route to the scene?
Yes, sir.
And does it give an arrival time for
Yes,
that
sir.
police unit?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And you indicated it does give the time when the phone or when that 911 call is received.
From the moment of phone pickup, yes, sir.
Date and time?
Date and time.
And is the time expressed in 24-hour clock or military time?
Yes, military time.
And is it also given in minutes and then seconds?
Yes,
Okay. So there's going to be 3 parts to the time that's recorded?
correct.
All right. And are those dates and times maintained as accurate?
Yes, they are.
Does the CAD incident detail report also that's generated by the computer, does it indicate if it's a wireless call, the location of the cell tower that the wireless call is being routed through?
It may not necessarily indicate the latitude and longitude. That would be on the phone system itself. But it will put in the cross streets or the closest location of the cross streets.
To the tower?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Based on the tower coordinates.
Does it also, the CAD detail report or incident detail report, does it generate the phone number that the call is being received from?
Yes, the Annie Alley through the phone system populates the number that is received from the phone system into the CAD system.
And is the name of any assigned law enforcement unit and its unit number, is that also recorded in the incident detail?
Unit numbers are, and dispatcher names are, along with employee numbers.
Okay. So the dispatcher who would have received the 911 call, their name is indicated in the incident report?
Yes, it is.
Will the incident detail report also indicate any efforts made by any responding law enforcement as indicated in their computer coming back into your system?
In the notes section, yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as U-A. U is in uniform, A is in alpha. Just ask if you could take a look at that. I'd ask, first of all, have you previously seen the document?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And what type of document is this 3-page document?
This 3-page document is what we call a Signal 17, an attempt to contact. It means that on this portion here, method call received was through 911. Gregory Vona, who was our communications officer at that time, now retired, took the call, initiated the incident. The phone pickup was at 17:06 and 24 seconds. The first keystroke was at 17:06 and 26 seconds. 2 seconds later, it was in the waiting queue at 17:06. Based on recordings that I had listened to, when we receive a 911 call that is inbound, when the disconnect occurs, our policy is that the dispatcher is to call back the 911 number. There was no message left at that point because it went straight to voicemail. He then called back again. It went straight to voicemail. He then dispatched an officer based on the latitude and longitude of the cell tower location. The officer then went out into the area. It shows the unit number 601, the officer Morris Tiffany, and then there's, I'm sorry, I'm nervous, I apologize.
That's okay. If you could just slow down just a little
Okay,
bit.
all right, so.
I do it too, so don't worry.
The officer went out. It indicates who responded, the dates, times of response times, goes down and goes into the location, wireless, hang up, unable to leave voicemail. An officer 505, which would have been the sergeant, was aware of the call holding. The officer then circulated area for anyone in distress but had negative results. Those are the response that put in by the officer on the same date at 17:35 and 19 seconds by that same officer. And it was closed as unfounded, no distress located at that point in time for this incident.
Do the records indicate where or what location the officer was responding to?
Yes.
I'm sorry, where the officer was responding from when they went to that call?
Responding from, let me see if it will, no, because it would,
Let me see on the back page. Maybe I may have this wrong.
that would be a GPS coordinate. I don't believe the GPS coordinate is labeled on this CAD event.
Well, let me go to this, and I'll come back to that. Does the record indicate the area that the officer was sent to, where the cell tower cross streets are?
Yes, Temple Terrace Highway Fire Station 1, which is at 124 Bullard Parkway. That was the closest location based on the cell tower.
Okay. This section here, responding from,
En route dispatch to 124 Bullard Parkway. En route to 124 Bullard Parkway, responding from East Fowler Avenue and Morris Bridge Road. Okay, then it did indicate the GPS coordinate.
okay, of where she was responding from, Officer
yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Okay. And her response time is given, is that right?
Yes.
Her en route time and then her arrival time?
Incident reset on scene time, en route time, yes. There's the en route time and then the on scene time
Okay.
indicated in both.
Judge, can you hold for a moment?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, and I apologize, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, there is something that has arisen that has to be dealt with right this moment, so we're gonna take our morning recess early, okay? So just be mindful that we're gonna take our morning recess now, and we will work until the lunch break, so, ma'am, since you're on the witness stand, and if not, you've been cross-examined, you don't have to stay on the witness stand, but you just cannot talk to anyone, including the prosecutors, about anything related to the
Understood.
case. And as soon as we come back, then I will put you back on the stand, okay?
Understood.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
rise, jury exiting.
Okay, very good, jury's up in the courtroom. Go ahead, Mr. Harmon, go on down. And I did send an email for the record to that judge, okay? All right, be back in a few.